It is just part of our extraordinary story, this great Australian project, the most successful multicultural society in the world. So I'm filled with optimism about the relationship. I think we should all be positive about it and recognise the strength of the engagement and also note that sometimes in the media there is always going to be an emphasis on differences, on conflict, on problems. Overwhelmingly, the relationship is strong and by any measure getting stronger. The engagement is at enormous levels and growing all the time. And it is 24 years is not a very long time, truthfully, but I think back to when I was in does anyone here know Hebei province well? Zhangjiakou, right? Zhangjiakou, I'm sure, is full of five-star hotels now. I was there in the early 90s negotiating a mining project, which became quite a large zinc mine, actually, now, listed on the London Stock Exchange. I remember working there with the Geological Bureau. And, as China was short of capital and it was a different world. The growth that we have seen has been enormous. But you know what? In those days, the partnership between Australians and Chinese, the spirit of working together and the engagements that came from Australian Chinese was so important. I mean, one of our geologists, some of you may know him, Joe Bo, who is he was educated in China, did his PhD in Australia, and has been doing business back and forth ever since. You'll see in the media, and sometimes you'll see from politicians, and I know there's been a bit of negativity expressed by my political opponents in the course of today's sessions. You can often see a lot more negativity presented than is actually the case. I remember when the G20 was in Hangzhou, one of the most beautiful cities. I don't know how many of you have been out on the West Lake at dawn, but that is one of the most extraordinary experiences with the beautiful islands, the artificial islands, and the lake look as though they're floating. It's a magical place.